And welcome to this victory. That's right, victory Monday. The Browns, in stunning fashion, Kardiac Kids 2.0, beat the Baltimore Ratbirds, Ravens, whatever the damn well you want to call them, and they get the win. And we're all hyped. And we got Steve here. We got Elliot here. Elliot just came back from his shindig over there with the Xenia Browns backers. We can't wait to hear from you, Village Elliot. And welcome, guys. Steve, how you feeling?
Feeling good. I jumped around my living room, scared the hell out of my dog. And my wife went, go ahead.
Right. Well, I scared Grant, man, my son who's got autism. He does not like it when dad raises his voice for anything, and he can't tell the difference. And boy, I tell you, when that kick went through, oh, what a beautiful feeling. I could not do any texting or anything on social media for like 10 minutes because I was shaking so badly, like a lot of other Browns fans after that game. I mean, us diehard fans, we've been around this game so long.
I had to go
watching
out
our
back.
Browns. I know, right?
Back. I went out my back door and just
You got to. You have to. Oh my gosh. Village Elliot, how are you?
I'm trying to recover from about 5 consecutive nervous breakdowns, which were caused by different factors, some good and some bad.
Yes.
I was so down. The season was over.
Yes.
By halftime, I thought, oh my gosh, Cincinnati's winning.
Yes.
We are hopelessly behind Baltimore. There is no chance that we can come back. Pittsburgh is winning. This is going to be terrible. We're going to be in last place all alone.
Yep.
And Baltimore is going to be so far ahead that we'll never catch up. The season is gone. The franchise is doomed. And so I had a nervous breakdown. And
but you're still here.
Yeah, I'm still here. And then I started to feel a little bit better in the second half, but then I had I've had a guilt complex at that point. You can't feel
guilt.
You know that it's not real. This isn't reality. It's not going to happen. I just couldn't allow myself to feel happy because I knew it was going to end badly, and I continued to feel that way until the ball went through the goalposts, and even then. There was a penalty flag. I knew that there was going to be a penalty. And then when it was against the Ravens, then I had another nervous breakdown. But this time it was like Nirvana, the tears of joy. I was at the Xenia Brown backers. The whole place was pandemonium. It lasted for like 10 minutes. It was great.
Even the fans in Wichita, Kansas, the Browns backer odds chapter saw their replay of their big win. And, oh, man, they were delirious, too. It's just nice to see so many Browns fans worldwide.
Middle Tennessee Browns backers. I got a video after the field goal and whole crowd. Good crowd over there, and they all just went crazy.
It was incredible.
So much to dissect. Where to start? I guess
dissect John Harbaugh. I got so tired of him crying about every little thing that went wrong for his team. I mean, gosh, grow up, John. Grow up. Be a man.
Right,
come on.
Right. Well, I'd say there's so many.
I hate to curse on the air, but building off of what Elliot said. Yes. My wife looked at him and said, "What a little bitch."
Well, that's basically the way he acted. I think I will agree with your wife.
True.
It was true. It was sad.
So during the game, I was so frustrated. Well, and Grantman needed his haircut. So we went down the street to get his haircut in the third quarter after the Browns picked up their touchdown. Kareem Hunt got the lead down to 24-17. They got the 2-point conversion. I'm thinking, okay, this is good. I'm going to go run and take Grant to get his haircut. We ran to get his haircut. While I'm in the car, I'm listening to the game on the radio, and I hear Myles Garrett just start taking over and just 2 sacks in a row. I turn the car off, come back in, and realize that the Browns had fumbled the ball away on the punt. I missed that whole series where the referees played keep away from the Browns. We got to give the Browns even more credit because they went against two teams today. I don't know how much that the refs got paid today, but my God, it just seemed like every opportunity.
It was bad.
It
was really bad.
Browns so ticky-tack. Browns fans are frustrated. We've had our moments this year where we've benefited from some of those ticky-tack fouls where we've gotten late in the game. So, you just don't know. And so the way that this whole game played out, it's just crazy. Again, but the fact that they were down 14-0, 17-3, it reminded you a little bit again of the Seattle game. Of course, Deshaun put us behind the 8 ball by throwing that damn interception again. That's just nuts. Then you get another tip ball and Greg Newsome late in the game, my gosh, runs it back the other way. And then we missed the extra point of all things. Dustin Hopkins, who's so reliable, misses. But right before he kicked that one, he had a previous kick on the earlier touchdown, which was a little bit to the left as well. And I kind of went at that point like, ooh, I don't like that. It's going a little to the left. So, but you're not thinking that he's going to miss it, but he did. And then there he comes back and we get the win. But like Elliot said, there was a penalty at the end. We're all like holding our bated breath. Like after
my wife said after he missed the extra point, she goes, well, he's just setting it up so he can kick a game-winning field goal. Yes. And I went, I'll take it.
Right. It just so many things. Let's start like at the beginning of the game, and there was a lot of conversation on social media about Deshaun and 1 for 9. The lackluster sort of making some mistake, a brutal mistake right at the very beginning. Right, Steve, go ahead.
Well, you and I talked about it this morning, and I said their safeties are incredible, and he made an incredible play to pick that off for a touchdown, Kyle Hamilton. But you got to give Deshaun credit. Second half, 14 for 14. He was perfect in the second half. Okay. All right, that's a franchise quarterback. They got the ball down by 1, 5:38 left in the game. He marched them down the field.
All the way. You think about that. Two drives in the second half. One that went for what? 10 or 11 minutes?
That was drive in the third quarter.
Yeah, 10 or
drive for a touchdown.
So that was tremendous.
Genius.
Right. Just brilliant. Like, and we didn't even know if he'd be coming in the second half. There was some.
I know.
Yeah. Just, because he rolled the ankle. I was assuming he'd be back. He looked like he was doing, but then they came back on the TV and they were showing PJ Walker, and it's making all Browns fans kind of nervous, going, "Oh crap,"
Very nervous.
So, I had to turn the sound down because I like Vilma, who was doing the color.
I don't like Vilma,
but I had to turn it off because he was saying that Greg Newsome was a backup cornerback, or I heard that later in the game, and I turned it back on, but he was just saying some silly stuff in the first half too.
Yeah, he was.
Oh man, our blood pressures are starting to come down like yours are everywhere. Thanks again for tuning into the Fanatical Elves Network, powered to Fans First Sports Network, and we are talking about the dramatic Browns victory over the Baltimore
Ford. Let's talk about
Jerome Ford. Yes, and thanks Joel for saying that he was garbage this week.
How much garbage did he collect, by the way? Let's look at
a lot. I was just looking at that. How did he do? I was pulling those stats up. 107 yards.
107 pieces of garbage and average 6.3 pieces of garbage.
That sounds like Nick Chubb. That's better than Nick Chubb.
He looked good.
That looked pretty good to me. Yeah.
Yep.
6.3 yards per carry.
We did not see Pierre Strong, which surprised me a bit.
Well, I would like to see him in this game. I do believe in distributing the load. But what we did see from Jerome Ford, I will call your attention to, is he did not stop and jitter around and go left, right, and do this.
I've had
inspection.
multiple. Yep.
Where he does his little.
I've had so many Browns fans texting me today about that they said, boy, like, and he was going forward and he looked like somebody has got to be talking to him this last week. And
we sat him down.
Maybe it was Joel. Yeah, maybe it was you and Village LA. Maybe it was you and
he got so sick of us that he said, "I'm going to show those guys, that I can run north and south." And he did. He did a really good job.
If you know any if you folks out there listening, if you know any Cleveland Browns players personally, tell them to tune in to the Fanatical Elves Network. We would love their support. And
we give great coaching for sure.
But, the other thing you think about it, Watson had 8 carries for 37 yards, and some of those runs were really, really important. In moments like even in that, was it the last drive where he got away? Yes. He got away for about 15 or 20 yards where you thought maybe he might get tripped up, but he kept his balance and went forward. I got to also say this. I'm jumping around a little bit, but those Ratbirds, they are so dirty. They play.
Yeah, they are.
They're headhunters, and then they pull at these guys' legs on the backside of the when guys go down. That's just dirty. That's just dirty play. Yep. And Coach Harbaugh and those jacks over there in Baltimore teach that crap. And I just think that's why Harbaugh is an idiot and why the organization is a bunch of morons, and we don't like them. And we got the damn win today, and we beat you, Ratbirds. All right,
and then they whine about every penalty, and they get the benefit of the doubt from the referees.
The whining
more often than any other team in the NFL.
Stefanski on that play where he was whining the most. Stefanski got heated because the play clock went down, and then they went over to show Harbaugh like you said, whining, and he said outrageous. Like you could read his lips, like that's outrageous. And I'm like, stupid jerk.
Stefanski was right. I mean, come on. The best thing about today, my wife and I met another couple this morning at a restaurant for a little early brunch.
Yeah.
And, they show all the NFL games, and our waitress had a Ray Lewis jersey on.
Oh, no.
And I looked at her, and I'm in my Brown stuff. My wife's in her Brown stuff. And even the manager came over and went, "What's going on here?" And, I was nice. And she went, "Good luck today." And I went, "You're going to lose."
Yeah. No, hey, just looking at the numbers here too, again, Amari Cooper, 6 catches for 98 yards. So he almost went over 100 yards again today. Kareem Hunt, Elijah Moore.
Big time game for Elijah Moore.
Not a lot of yards, but important catches. 6 catches, 44 yards, a big one for 19.
David Njoku.
Oh, yes. 6 for 58. Let's talk about Kareem Hunt as well. Another touchdown on the ground. That guy is possessed. He wants it. He's playing for Nick Chubb. I think he's playing, for himself. I think he's had some run-ins. He runs his mouth. I think that gets him and Kevin Steady Eddie into some probably some controversies behind the scenes, I imagine. But in the end, they're winning. And better yet, Odell Beckham Jr. Celebrating early with that smirk on his. Nice to see. I mean, I'm sure Odell's a nice guy, so I don't want to rip the guy. But him scoring that touchdown early, And then the Keaton Mitchell, my gosh, the Browns could not have started off that game any worse. Keaton Mitchell, the undrafted kid out of East Carolina. And then they kept showing his father in the stands for an hour. And I'm like, dude, okay, we don't need to see dad up in the, stands. I get it. He used to play for the Ravens. I wonder if he played for the Browns because that you think, well, no, he probably didn't because.
No, he didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, what a game. We're all exhausted.
Well,
I think all Browns fans.
My favorite play, I'm trying to find it, but I'm sorry I got a commercial on by mistake, but there was one play in particular where there was a running play and the offensive line started to move and the whole pile moved.
Oh, that was the play of the game. That was the field goal.
It was.
That was
Yeah.
incredible.
The symbolism
Was
of
that
that
on the
play.
final drive?
Yes.
Yes.
And was Hunt the ball carrier, or who was carrying the
No,
ball?
it was
I
Ford.
think
It was Ford.
was.
It was
Yeah.
Ford.
Okay, I'm trying to find that. Did we get credit for all those yards, or did they bring
We
it
did.
back?
Yes.
No,
we
they gave
did.
it to us.
Yeah. It's like
And
they
that
did-
was on the
7
final
or 8
drive.
yards
yes,
past
it was.
the line of scrimmage.
They carried him 10 yards at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I can't find that play in the
Play of
by
the game. That
It
put
really
him in the
was.
field goal
I had a
range.
friend text me after the game and said that was symbolic for the entire game. That's
Oh
really,
yeah,
Yep.
I thought about
agree.
Jim Brown and Leroy Kelly and those guys, and
if they
yeah,
want to show a play back again and again to the players, put that on replay.
okay,
Yeah,
here it is.
You know,
I think it
at
was.
practice.
I think it was at 124 of the 124
Yeah.
left. Jerome Ford, right
Yep.
guard to Baltimore 27 for 12 yards. That must
Yep.
be it right
Yep.
there.
That
That
was
was
the
so
that was the
awesome.
game, man.
That was so awesome.
And
We
I
had
think
the whole team running right up the middle, man. It was
Yep.
not going around cutesy pie around right in or something. Right up the middle. Jerome, that's what we want, man. Just run straight up the middle, run behind the big guys, and the whole line was moving forward.
Nick
That
Harris
was so
behind
cool.
pushing. I
let's-
love it.
Let's pause real quick for a quick commercial here on the Fanatical Elves Network. We are on the postgame show. We'll be right back. Okay, we are back on the Fanatical Elves Network. Thanks for joining us. We are just celebrating what a glorious victory, a tantalizing comeback by the Browns, 33-31.
Yeah.
So many things to talk about. I mean, there's just so much to dissect here. Greg Newsome. I mean, let's give some props to Greg Newsome for, having the wherewithal to find the ball and stay in bounds down the sideline and score that pick six. I was hoping we'd get a pick six. I didn't know it would come at that point in the game, but it certainly did help.
Didn't we bounce the ball off a helmet again?
I don't know.
Elliot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think this is the third straight game where a ball bounced off a helmet and what turned out to be a big play. And the Browns have gotten 2 of the helmet passes. So, David Tyree, eat your heart out. I think it's 3 straight games where a ball hit somebody's helmet and became an interception and was a big play that factored into the game.
So Deshaun Watson finished 20 for 34. Like you said, he was 14 for 14 in the second half for 213 yards, 1 touchdown, with a quarterback ranking of 74.8. But more importantly, Jerome Ford, 17 carries, 107 yards. Receiving Amari Cooper, Mr. Reliable. I wrote an article about him earlier last night. Just having a hell of a season. I just love his professionalism, and he's a real reason why this Browns team, and even when we're down offensively and we're not moving, we still got him, and that's a good thing. He was spreading the ball around a lot today. David Njoku with 6 catches, Elijah Moore with 5 catches. Aikens got a catch for Harrison Bryant got one, and Jerome Ford got one.
Big catch by Aikens.
Yes, very, very important. Defense. I mean, Myles Garrett in that one series before the flopped punt was incredible. I listened to that on the radio. He got 2 sacks back to back. Is that correct?
Second half and a half a sack.
Wow. I'm just looking at the stats here right now.
Okoronkwo. He was the one who hit the ball that went up and Newsome got.
Yes.
Zadarius Smith had a sack.
So we had how many on the day? We had 1, 2.5, 3. I think it's 3. They gave a half sack to JOK. They gave a half sack to Zadarius Smith. Really, that was Zadarius Smith's sack, but we'll give half of that.
Yeah, it was.
And then 1.5 sacks to Garrett. Maybe they'll change that. Greg Newsome got a half sack as well. So I think that's 3 on the day. And then tell me about this punt return, this kick return. Pierre Strong. When did he run that back? Was that early in the game, or I maybe missed that?
Yeah, it was, I think, second quarter. He had a very nice return.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
Hopkins was 4 for 4 on field goals, except he missed the extra point. But again, now he didn't go. It was Stefanski, questionable play call there at the end of the first half.
Not really.
Seven.
Not really.
Well, I know some people thought it was controversial.
Yeah,
7
come
seconds.
on, it was 60-yarder.
Oh, I'm not saying it was. I'm not agreeing necessarily with that take, but part of it is like, well, what do you have to lose? Well, what you have to lose is that if you miss the kick,
or a block and a run back by a touchdown. I've seen that enough.
Oh, against Baltimore, too many times, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm good with that. I was good with that.
Man. So, Village Elliott, tell us about Xenia. What was that like today?
Oh, yeah, no, it was remarkable. First, kudos to the BW3 operations, Xenia. They opened their doors last week. They've only been in business 1 week, and yet they were able to really handle an overflow crowd. The Xenia Brown backers turned out in force. It was a huge crowd, completely full to capacity on the first Browns backers party. It was a really happy
what do you estimate?
Crowd. I don't know.
40, 50?
I don't know.
200. Whoa.
I mean, it was completely full. I mean, it was a big, what BW3 is like.
I'm sorry, I was in Wichita where 40 is good for us, but 200, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't really know
that's
how
what
big
shows up here every week.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, no, it was a very respectable crowd, and it was fun.
Nice.
And the Browns fans dominated the proceedings in the restaurant.
Yes,
good.
Friendly to other fans as well, but you could tell that it was a Browns establishment on that Sunday.
What a nice way to start, a great memory to
oh my gosh, yeah. And it was totally total chaos in the second half.
Well, we've had some really
laughing and crying.
We had so many crazy games against Baltimore because I've never felt like Baltimore. I mean, in this game, this season, let's just stick to this. I don't think I'm not been scared of Baltimore. Even when we got beat several weeks ago, I was never really scared of them. And today, again, it really wasn't one of those things where, I see, the pass that Lamar made to OBJ was nice in the second half. But outside of that, again, they didn't do much of anything. And you got to give the Browns defense so much props for keeping this team in it. I mean, overall, let's see here. You want to know
what made a difference today, John? They hit Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
They hit him.
Yeah, that late hit.
They hit him.
Yeah.
You got to hit the quarterback. I don't care if you sack him or not. You got to hit him. When they hit him out of bounds.
Yeah.
Oh man.
50 plays.
That was
they only had 50. They only had 50 plays. The time of possession again was totally controlled by the Browns, 35 minutes to 25 minutes. 306 yards allowed to the Ratbirds. We had 373. We were penalized 10 times. They were penalized 7 times. If we had lost this game, I think the penalty.
Yeah, that would have been the storyline.
That would have been the story.
Yep.
We had 178 yards rushing, 178. Again, 178. We got to give.
Damn.
I mean, Village Elliott. Steve and I talked about this before the game because I was a little frustrated on my Johnny Cleveland podcast. Check that out. It came out last night, but I talked a little bit about my annoyance with a lot of Browns fans and even some on this network and some that I just follow as writers. Really, again, saying that the Browns running game isn't cutting it in the NFL and they're only getting 2 or 3 yards a pop. And I'm like, wait a second, this team was 5-3. They've been getting 150, 160 yards a game. I get it. I see what you're saying, but I don't like that take that they're not cutting it. Right now, the Browns are 6-3, and I don't care. We got 178 yards, and I don't care if it's 3 yards or 2 yards. We're 6-3, and we just beat the damn Ratbirds. So I think that people are just so nitpicky about.
We're spoiled because we're used to Nick Chubb getting 6. So, we're not getting 6 yards per carry anymore.
Well, Jerome Ford got 6 today. There you go.
Well, he did. He didn't see, and we just barely won. But, Baltimore is kind of like us, though, because they are also having problems. And so much depends upon Lamar Jackson in order for them to win a football game.
Yeah.
They only have one wide receiver that's really crucial for them. That's Zay Flowers, the rookie.
Zay Flowers.
Everybody else gets one catch. That's their ratio. Their allotment is 1 catch per game. Zay Flowers gets 5 per game.
Yeah.
I'm exaggerating a little bit, but that's kind of the formula. And then Mark Andrews, of course,
you're about right.
The tight end is an exception. He is really a real, super receiver. But Elliot, they also have weaknesses, and they also have trouble running the ball without Lamar. They're like us. That they have a flawed offense.
What do you think about Patrick Queen for Baltimore? That play that he made on Deshaun late, where he came up high around his neck. No one's talking about that, but I felt like that was a really like dirty play again. I thought that was a play to try to take Deshaun out in a kind of a legal way, but he went high. He didn't have to. He was going out of bounds, and he wrapped that arm over Deshaun, didn't grab his helmet, but it shook him up and his knee or whatever again. I just can't get over. I'm just so happy today because those Ratbirds are one of the dirtiest teams in the NFL, and they get away with all that crap every week. And gosh dang it, we beat them.
Yeah, no, they have mean linebackers. I would say they're very good football players. They're tough. They're very, very play at a very high level.
Yeah.
But I think you're right that they live on the edge. I think would be a fair way to say it.
Yeah. Well, let's move.
Good way.
Let's move. Let's look forward just for a second here, Elliot and Steve. With I heard Pittsburgh won, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
And the Bengals lost, and now the Browns will play Pittsburgh. Who did Pittsburgh beat today?
Houston.
Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, excuse me. Cincinnati lost to Houston. Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Yes. Sorry. Yes.
So now next week, Baltimore.
It's the number 1 game on CBS next week.
Baltimore plays Cincinnati Thursday night, so we already know if Cincinnati will fall to 5-5, or the Ratbirds will fall to 7-4.
7-4, yeah,
or go to 8-3. So Browns have an opportunity. This game against Pittsburgh, they're both 6-3, right? So one team will be 7-3, the other team will be 6-4. It could really be. It's going to be a game. And I think the Browns coming off of this, I think this is, I was feeling like during the game that they exerted so much energy on the defensive side of things to get back in it. I get cautious about, going into this big game against Pittsburgh, did they extend themselves too much to get this win? But I think this momentum, it's a huge win for the Browns organization to go into Baltimore in this kind of environment halfway through the season, to get in a game that they had to get, that a lot of us did not know if they would. We were thinking that maybe they would split, lose this one, get a win against Pittsburgh. Now everything shifts to this Pittsburgh game. While we think it's going to be a win, a lot of us, it's a home game. We have something to get back at them because we blew it against them the first time. I caution everybody because I just, it's Pittsburgh. And again, like any of these AFC North battles, we just don't know exactly what's going to happen. We kind of know when we're playing Cincinnati because we've had their number, but Pittsburgh, we've split. I'm hoping, we need to get the split. We need to beat them. Sunday. What are your thoughts going forward? Steve, let's start with you and then go to Village Elliott.
They're going to win.
Yeah.
I feel confident. I think this defense is going to do what they do at home, like they've done at home against Tennessee, against San Francisco.
Yeah.
They're going to this game today lifts the pressure off of them. The Ravens, they wanted to win today, win Thursday, get control of the AFC North. Not going to happen. So I'm looking forward to another classic Browns-Pittsburgh game this Sunday. I think the Browns will win. I think they'll win decisively. And
how did Pittsburgh win this game?
Then they start their West Coast trip.
How did they win this game? How did the Steelers win the game? They got up early, I saw. Did they just not play very good?
No, well, they had trouble moving the ball for much of the game.
Good.
Yeah.
They didn't get first downs for a long time, and then they finally eked out a win at the end.
Okay.
But their offense has not looked good. They've been really nobody thought that they were juggernauts on offense, but they've been really bad on offense.
Yeah.
Surprise.
It's funny. I saw some of our Fanatical Elves network folks. Jeff Hartman was commenting at halftime. He saw the injury to Deshaun Watson. And so, the Pittsburgh fans, they all get excited. Ooh, Deshaun's going to be out, and like, no, he's not going out. He went 14-14 in the second half, and he's got something more to prove next week when he comes back home to Cleveland. So I'm excited. Hope you guys are excited. Final takes before we part ways with everybody. What a great, glorious game. 33-31. The Browns come back and beat the Baltimore Ratbirds in dramatic fashion. Village Elliott, final thoughts before we say goodbye?
Well, at the beginning of the year, I thought that Pittsburgh was more dangerous than Baltimore, and I saw flaws because Pittsburgh let go 3 players from its secondary, 3 very good players from the secondary. And I thought that the Steelers had the best defense overall, that the Steelers and the Browns had the best defenses, and that the defensive teams tend to go the furthest, and especially as the season progresses. So I did think that Baltimore might be vulnerable, and they were able to play a lot of teams that had rookie quarterbacks at the beginning of the year. So I'm thinking that Baltimore might be kind of exposed, or so much of their team depends upon Lamar Jackson. And although I loved Lamar Jackson as a player, I think that not sure that I believe completely in Baltimore. I think they've surpassed my expectations. I do think it's a mistake to underestimate Pittsburgh. I believe in winning ugly with a strong defense and just a mediocre offense. And so I think that Pittsburgh deserves utmost respect. I think we'll actually see the best defenses in the AFC this Sunday.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Love it. Steve.
Good take. I agree. Elliott nailed it.
Enough said. We're excited. Our blood pressures are still kind of coming down. We're semi calm like everybody else is right now, but it's a great day. We'll have a Victory Monday celebration tomorrow. We've got shows left and right coming at you. I know Steve's got his Dog Pound South show.
It's going to be exciting.
Village Elliott's got some Oracle Speak shows coming up, I'm sure. We'll have our Victory Monday show for the network with myself tomorrow. So stay tuned. Again, thanks for following us here on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, on the X, Twitter. We've gained about 50 or 60 followers today on social media. So thanks again, everybody. Tell everybody about our network. We love that you're tuning in, following us, and spreading the love. Take care, everybody. Browns win, dramatic fashion, 33-31. Go Browns! Woof,
go Browns!
Awesome. Way to be, folks. That is unbelievable.